It is the year 1491 in the Forgotten Realms, and 2 Harper agents based out of Waterdeep have spent the last 6 days travelling north up the Long Road after being sent to investigate the whereabouts of a renowned shield dwarf historian, Thar, who was due to arrive in Waterdeep over a 10-day ago now. The dwarf historian had been part of a large delegation of mixed travellers from Mirabar in the north, who had been travelling south along the Long Road. Thar was transporting his collection of manuscripts to Waterdeep, and although the lateness of their arrival could be due to a number of innocuous factors, it has been a cause for concern, and the Harpers don't want the sage or his books to fall into the wrong hands. With the Harpers' numbers spread so thinly in Waterdeep, the decision was made to just spare 2 low-ranking agents, the gnome scholar Talyn, who had been involved in letters of correspondence with Thar prior to his departure from Mirabar, and the former halfling criminal, Wellby. Although the full itinerary of the Mirabar delegation's journey was never revealed, they do know that the last major stop on their journey was due to be the small town of Red Larch in the Desrin Valley. Talyn and Wellby are now just 1 day's travel away from the town of Red Larch. Setting camp in a lightly wooded area 100 feet east from the Long Road, Wellby and Talyn settle down for the night. But their rest is soon interrupted by the sounds of yelling and screaming from the northwest.
So, does it sound like a humanoid type person screaming, or like a monster screaming?
You can roll a perception check.
Yeah. Of course.
At this point, you're not even sure if what you heard was something living or maybe it was just the wind.
It's alright, I think it was the wind. We can go back to sleep.
I would also like to check if I heard anything other than the wind.
It'll be perception.
Yep.
Yeah.
You might get a good roll anyway.
So it's the 15 is valid, and it has the -1 applied to it. So you can clearly hear that definitely humanoid voices. You think possibly human, probably human.
I'm certain I heard a human scream. I think we should go and investigate.
Yeah. Okay, you first.
Me first. I can barely see a thing in this dark, and you're going to have to lead me, or I can light a lantern. How much can you see?
You see, it's 60 feet in dim light, as if it were bright, and darkness, as if it were dim. So assuming we're in darkness, so I can see like dim up to 60 feet. Okay, I don't think we should cast any light at the minute. So if you stick close to me.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just gonna go there.
Okay. I'm just going to drag, and at this stage you can both hear definitely some noise, and it's persisting, and basically not just screams and yells, but clanging and what sounds like could be a skirmish of some kind.
Slowly move a bit closer then. My thought is I could cast a light spell on one of your arrows, Rob, and you could fire it in the general direction of the sounds you can hear.
Yes, that would briefly illuminate us.
So, okay. I touch your arrow and it illuminates, Rob.
Okay. We're now lit up like a Christmas tree. Can I fire my illuminated arrow in the direction of the noise?
You can.
Above the direction of the noise.
I'm going to move it across, and you'll have a few seconds to see what you can see.
See what you see.
Okay, it's moving across. Can you see that?
Tree trunk?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, looks like a place I want to go.
I made 3 orcs.
Okay, and the light's coming down. And obviously, you saw several dead bodies, and you think may have been goblins. The halfling confirms that what he saw were goblins, and there may have been some other creatures that you weren't quite sure what they were, bigger creatures, humanoids, and they seem to be standing around a wounded humanoid.
I think we have to go in.
Yeah. Do I know it? Do I know anything about goblins?
Being a bit of a scholar, you've kind of read up on some of the lore. You know that they tend to fight in organised ranks, usually led by hobgoblins. However, you do know that they themselves are not natural leaders and will tend to follow other races into battle as well.
Rob,
I can't.
I have a plan that will definitely not backfire and will work well.
How long does this plan take for you to tell me the plan? Because these goblins are moving in the meantime. And our conversation is not a 0-time thing.
I'm a quick talker. I've got improved illusion, minor illusion. I'm going to make a goblin to distract them. If you can go around and start stabbing them in the back.
I can't
So
see
my
them.
minor illusion can do an illusion and a sound. So she's just going to, look like an alluring goblin.
I'm not sure this plan is a good one because I can't see in the dark.
Probably half a minute has gone past before since the arrow was shot. You do hear movement and see a couple of shapes approaching from the northwest. They're quite wide apart, and they seem to be moving quite slowly and not directly at you, though.
So they haven't made us yet.
I can just about see something, I think.
Right, in that case, I attempt to sneak up to the fallen tree trunk and hide next to it. Would that involve a stealth check?
Yes, you can do that.
Okay.
That's a very good roll, actually.
I've got a bonus for 6.
Oh yeah. You start to walk forward and skulking along the ground. The ground is a little bumpy, but it's approximately flat. But you try and get as low as possible, and you get into a little nook around it. And at the very least, you don't hear any sounds of alarm or anything from the direction which you've been told the creatures are approaching.
Okay. I'm going to cast my illusion of a goblin. I can create sound. So she's going to make some goblin noises, obviously. I'm going to cast it there. It's only going to last a minute, though.
You can see that they've both have noticed the goblin. The closest one takes a quick glance at it, but then scoffs and turns around and starts looking around the tree line and further around this area. And he starts to move through. The other one does seem to be preoccupied with the goblin. And he's going,
I would like to sneak up behind the goblin as he is facing away from me and perform a sneak attack.
Roll another stealth check just to guarantee that he doesn't see in his peripheral vision. That's perfectly. He does not notice you start to sneak.
Okay, so I'm just quickly, stealthily vaulting over this log, and I'm now in melee range of this guy, and I'm going to perform my attack on him. I'm attacking with my short sword.
Okay. He doesn't have a shield, but unfortunately, your short sword seems to get stopped as it clangs into his leather armor that he's wearing. He is still surprised, however. The other goblin who was suspicious is not surprised, and so at this point, we're going to roll for initiative. As soon as your attack misses and the other goblin is alerted, he swings round and sees you just trying to basically run your sword through his buddy and starts to move towards you. Goes to take a swing at you with his scimitar.
My armor class is 14.
Yep, so you kind of see him coming in the corner of your eye, and you do a swift dodge out the way, and his blade swings past, sort of only cutting through air, and he snarls, and that's his turn done.
Okay, the one that's just took a swing at Wellby, I'm going to cast magic missiles. So it's...
Oh, for 5 damage, you got to be maxed out.
Yeah.
Okay. So the missile flies around, it lights up a bit of the surroundings and finds itself thudding straight into the back of the goblin, who goes right in front of the halfling, and he looks worse for wear from that spell.
I'm going to take a step back.
See you, halfling.
Coward.
Well, I've got a good 120-foot range on magic missile, so.
Okay, it's back to the halfling.
I'll just attack the wounded one while he's distracted by the searing pain in his wherever the magic missile hit.
Okay, so yeah, you can roll your short sword, I guess. Okay, I think that's going to be a hit this time.
All I can do is just 1d6 plus 4 in the chat box.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Basically, you plunge your sword straight through him, straight into his armor, and the last thing he does is he basically looks up in shock and his mouth open and then slumps forward. You still have your bonus action, so I think, especially because he's adjacent, you could use your dagger to hit the other foe.
Okay, so with my dagger.
The other one, which funny enough I think was a crit, so
I think he might be dead, Jim.
so yeah, you spin round and plunge the sword into his back there, and he screams in absolute agony, and then spins round as you kind of pull the dagger out with this wound that's kind of spurting this horrible greeny red blood around, and then he raises his scimitar. It's his turn, and he will go to attack you.
Come and get some.
Takes a swing and goes fighting for his very existence. So you've got a 15, which I believe is more than your
Armor class of
equal to
14,
your-
yes.
Yeah, he slashes you for 4 damage. That's it.
Down to 9.
And will disengage. He moves in. I'll show you the directions. You can see which way he's going. He's going to the northwest, and ends up. He has disappeared from, I think, both of your views. We knew which way he went. Talon's turn.
I'm going to move first to that. Can I see the one that was limping away?
I think you can actually. He's over by some boulders, which you can now see to the northwest. It's quite large boulders.
Okay. So I'm going to point my finger at the back of his head and cast Ray of Frost.
Yep.
So I will roll to hit.
Yes, that's all there, isn't it? You see him get hit with the blast. Now you can roll for damage, which I think is just on dice.
1d8. Yeah, it's 1d8. Oh, rubbish.
Ray is a bit wimpy as it kind of goes through the arm, but it seems enough to bowl him over, and he kind of lands flat forward. He's bounces off the rocks to the side and just is in a slump.
I will ask Talon, can you see the wounded person?
Yes. He's over there, and I point in the general direction. I'm going to snap a twig off the log, assuming I can, that's next to me, and cast light on it. I'm not bothered with torches. There's no point. I can cast light for free.
Yeah, I'll just light a torch. Okay. Can I also move in the direction of the... I guess I can.
Yeah. As you do get close, you do hear voices. It's not 100% clear, and obviously if you're moving, you can hear the sound of your footsteps as well over the top of it.
Okay, I'll move slightly to the front of my
You can
companion.
move in bits, because obviously you will see different things as you approach. Slightly to the southwest, about 20 feet, you can see the body of a man, and is clearly being hit with some sort of weapon and has apparently just blood out. You also see a body of a goblin. In addition to that, you can't see it because I've just taken it off the map, but near the rocks that you're very near, there's the body of the goblin that was blasted with the Ray of Frost. This man is dressed in leather armor. Doesn't seem to have done him much good though, as he's sort of slashed through the center. He's a humanoid male, middle-aged. he has a short sword by his side as well. The tent structure ahead, it's got a few slash marks in it.
Alright, I will move towards the tent. And I'll try and peer through the gaps in the side of the tent.
Inside you can see 2 bedrolls. One of them looks kind of disturbed. The other one's just as if no one has been slept in it. Yeah, there's a few various items, rations and a backpack scattered about. The talking is very audible now. You hear one voice say,
"Roglak, were the others so not black enough?"
Another voice you hear seems to be less harsh. It seems to be a bit of moaning in pain. And then what sounds like the original voice again says,
"We will not kill you, human. We make you die slow. Cut more pieces of flesh from your body till human begs Urnak to kill you for good."
The original voice speaks back, and you hear some words, and then something about settling, something like warriors. And then the voice says, "Unbind me and let us fight to the death." The voices grow a bit muffled, so you'll need a perception check to hear more.
Okay, I'll roll.
Okay.
Even though my perception's not great. Oh, awful.
Oh dear. You just hear...
Whereas I can see into a 10-mile range. I rolled a crit, didn't I?
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay. So what you heard?
I'll take my headphones off.
You hear,
"You are no warrior. We already see your magic, human. You have no honor in combat."
then another voice, similar to the first one, says,
"Urnak, human blade look like good steel. Maybe it has magic inside.
Then the original voice says,
Human blade belongs to Urnak now."
one of the creatures, the second creature that spoke, seems to be holding a blade that shines, just catches the traces of moonlight in the arm. But he seems to be clutching at his leg, and when he moves round, he seems to be limping on said leg. The less harsh voice then says,
"Then I suggest you start training in it. Your skill with the blade is poor, Urnak. You've still left with half your force dead."
The original voice grows angry in its expression and says,
Urnak will soon start training with soul on foolish talking human skull."
I said to Wellby that I think we should go help this guy out.
I'll extinguish my torch.
"But you still got your light on your stick?"
Yeah, I'm going to keep keeping it on.
Okay. As you get closer, there's obviously a chance of them noticing that. The creature with the limp doesn't appear to react as you approach. However, the other creature, the one that has been talking the most, seems to turn around and shouts something. What languages do you speak?
Halfling and common.
Common, Gnomish, Dwarvish, Elvish.
Yeah, you don't know what he actually said, but you could probably hazard a guess.
Kill the halfling.
The other creature on the floor, that person individual also does seem to notice you and looks in your direction and tries to sit up. You can see that his hands are bound, or should I say hand, because his left limb, the end of it appears to be a hook, which is actually still attached. His wrists are bound, should I say, with what looks like rope. The main creature is starting to approach.
We're in frost time.
If you're going to enter combat, because this isn't a surprise situation, it will be a case of everyone
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He goes for the closest foe, and he tries to pierce the very small gnome who's standing about 2.5 feet shorter than him with his javelin. Is 12 equal to or greater than your AC?
Sadly, yes.
Ooh, that's bad. Ruthlessly, or sort of pierces you in quite a delicate area with his javelin. Just as that happens, the figure that's at this point sat up, he shouts towards you, "Unbind me!"
Because I've got thunder wave, but it affects each creature in a 15-foot cube originating from me. So they must make a Constitution saving throw.
Yep.
My spell DC is 13. Oh, you. Okay. On a failed save, a creature takes 2d8 thunder damage. Oh no, it didn't. And a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage and isn't pushed, so it's just 2d8 halved. So 7.
Not too bad.
And it's not pushed, unfortunately.
A small goblin at the back can just get to Wellby and moves forward. He takes a swing with his scimitar, and that's a hit.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh. That's six damage as he slashes his scimitar.
I'm down to 3.
Party wide for that first outing.
It's not looking good, is it?
No.
Okay, that's his turn done. It is now you, Wellby.
I think I'll attack this goblin with my short sword.
Okay, that is definitely a hit as you slice through the goblin's armor, much to his surprise, to retaliate.
Okay.
But, as the sword goes through him, you see the light go out in his eyes, and he slumps back.
The light of evil. So I'll move back to here. And I will throw my dagger at the orc that's attacking Talyn.
Yep. Technically, it should just be the dagger attack again, so because it uses your dexterity. Okay, that was a hit. It did get through his armor.
Alright, so that's an extra 1d6, so that's 1d4, 1d6, and 4.
It is the other orc's turn, the one with the limp. He hobbles slowly and gets just a bit out of range of the gnome, and that is his turn done, which makes it this guy's turn again. Next turn, he will go to pierce the small gnome with his javelin again, and he screams a war cry as he's bleeding and worried this could be his last hurrah. That's going to be a hit, I think.
I think you might be dead, Jim.
7 damage with the piercing attack. Is that enough to put you under?
Yeah, I think that's definitely under.
The man on the floor is still bound, but he manages to get to his feet, which aren't bound. Wades forwards, his arms bound, and gets as far as just behind the orcs. He'll try to break free of his bonds using brute force, and fails to do so. It's the gnome's turn now, so I believe you need to take a death saving throw. I think if you roll a d20, then you regain 1 hit point, and if you roll a 15, then nothing happens. It's when you get failures that you tick those boxes. Now, if you were to roll a 1, which you haven't done, thank God, you get 2 death saving marks on you, so you can die much faster.
Awesome.
Right, seeing my friend dying on the floor, I leaped back into the fray. I'll move here. I will attack the wounded orc with my short sword.
Okay, that will be a hit. Your short sword kind of gets through the opening that you already made in his armor. The halfling kind of reaches up at the creature that's 3.5 feet taller than him, looming over him, and he manages to plunge that short sword deep within the orc's chest. The orc goes and collapses in an almighty thump. He's a brown bread, is what we're trying to get at here.
I can't use my bonus action to unbind the captain, can I?
If you're trying to manipulate the ropes to untie them rather than just rip them off, then that would be just let's just do a probably straight dexterity check. Yeah, it's a +4. You don't manage to completely untie them, but you have loosened them considerably to hopefully make it easier next time. The remaining orcs turn, that hobble slowly towards the character you've just tried to help. Takes a swing with his axe. That will be a hit. Let's see, it's back to him. He will attempt to pull away the rope, which he manages to do easily, especially thanks to the halfling.
Yay.
He holds out his hand, and the sword that the orc has stowed just springs straight into his hand straight away. The hand that isn't a hook. He will then try to attack said creature, and I believe he's going to miss with that. So he swings, and the orc, just a little bit surprised at the fact that he's got his sword back, just deflects the blade just in time with his axe. It is now Talyn's turn. He needs to make another death saving throw. That's 10 or higher, so that's a success. It is the halfling's turn.
I will move to engage the orc. I will attack him with my short sword.
But that's going to be a hit, and you've also got your sneak bonus because it's still an ally within range.
Yep, so that's 2d6 plus 4.
You sneak in one of your attacks, which seems to cause a great wound on the orc's side. The orc will attack the man. That is a miss. The human ignores the orc for a minute, spots that the gnome is in peril. He gets the what looks to be a bottle puts it to the gnome's mouth, and the orc starts to pour in the contents. During this time, his opportunity is attacked, but the armor absorbs the impact. The gnome can roll 2d4 and add 2 to that result. You find yourself restored by that many hit points and back into the conscious land of the living. It is now the gnome's turn.
I will cast magic missiles. Got all 3 of them this time.
Dead now.
Okay, that's a total of 7. Is that right? They pile into that guy, and as soon as the second one hits, his body goes limp, then the other one flies in, and he falls over and he's on the floor in a heap. The man thanks you and nods.
I will move closer to hear what he has to say.
Explains that he was travelling and they were ambushed while his first mate was standing guard. He says he was a good man, but there was not much I could do.
What's your name?
He says that people call him the captain.
I'll introduce myself as Talyn and thank him for saving my life.
He nods. That's what he looks like.
Captain Hook.
Nick Fury.
I will ask the captain, does he know of a dwarf named Rildenthar?
Takes the name on board for a second and then shakes his head.
I'll ask him, did you pass anybody on the road?
He says no. He says that they came from Waterdeep.
Same as us.
Just about 6 days ago.
I'll invite the captain to come back to our camp.
He says that's very good. He says that he doesn't think his camp is in a fit state at the minute. So he would appreciate
it. Came across it earlier. It's not a pretty sight. Did you want to bury your first mate?
He says he wishes he could have given him a sea burial, but we're too far from sea now, and that's not going to be possible.
I'm too weak to dig, but I will stay with the captain as he digs a grave for his man.
Yeah, we'll help stand guard.
As he starts to dig, he says, So why were you headed up north along the long road?
So we've been sent by our guild to find this Rildenthar who's gone missing.
He asks which guild?
The Harpers. You may have heard of us.
He nods and he says yes. He knows of the Harpers. He says that they don't tend to be very numerous in this region.
Jim.
He mentions that he has lived at a time in Waterdeep a long time ago, about 20 years ago, He's travelled back to the region because his crew have quite quickly kind of disbanded him, and he learned that they had travelled to this region. He knows he could hire a new crew, but he feels compelled to travel and see why they've gone here and if he can find them. He doesn't know exactly where they are, but he thought that the best place to start would be Red Larch, and he knows that an old travelling companion of his, back in his adventuring days, is set to be there, so he will meet up with him, and hopefully together they will be able to find his missing crew.
We are travelling to Red Larch as well. It makes sense for us to go together in these dangerous times.
He says yes. He says he thinks there's probably 100 days travel left, so should get there by tomorrow evening. During this period of conversation, he's dug a reasonable grave, and he takes the body of his friend and drags it into the grave and starts to scoop in this dirt. After not too long, the body's covered up and the grave is finished.
Am I the most wounded? Should I sleep first?
You do have the least number of hit points, it seems. The captain will take watch first if you want. For a few hours.
Yeah, we trust him. He saved me, so I trust him.
Save me as well. Well, that's a nice urgent.